Welcome to another episode of Management Unplugged by GR. Have you ever walked into a company and it just clicks? You know that feeling, right? People aren't just like showing up, they're really invested. Things just flow, processes seem almost effortless, goals get met, maybe even smashed, and there's this sense of real collective achievement. It's like stepping into a beautifully composed symphony, every part playing in perfect harmony, or maybe like a brilliantly engineered machine, every gear turning just right, smooth, no friction. Okay, hold that thought. Now picture the opposite, total chaos. We've all seen those places too, haven't we? Where friction isn't just occasional, like the default setting. Departments seem to be working against each other, maybe not even intentionally, and the company goals. They feel like these distant, blurry things you can never quite reach. You feel that inefficiency, right? All that energy you wasted on internal stuff instead of moving forward. You kind of wonder, how do they even survive?
Yeah.
So what is the secret then? Is it just dumb luck? Or something else? Well, probably not luck. Successful companies, the ones that really work, they aren't accidents. They're built, designed, carefully put together, almost like great architecture. Every beam, every window, every pipe fitting perfectly, serving one purpose. There's a blueprint behind it. And today, in this deep dive, we're going to look at that blueprint. Explore what makes these organizations thrive. And why should you care about this? Well, maybe you're building a team right now or leading one. Or maybe you just want to understand your own workplace better. You know, why some things work and others just don't. Or hey, maybe you're just curious about what makes businesses tick. This deep dive gives you a really powerful lens for that, a framework to see what's working, what's not, and maybe where to start fixing things. It helps you move from just being frustrated to actually doing something smart about it.
That's exactly right. It's easy to focus on just one thing, isn't it? Like the latest product or a flashy marketing campaign. And yeah, those things matter. Of course they do. But the real strength, the thing that makes a company last, is how all the parts work together. It's not just having great individual pieces. It's the synergy, the harmony between them, the whole being greater than the sum of its parts. That's the holistic view we're going to unpack today, giving you a way to really analyze how effective an organization is.
Okay, so how do we do that? How do we get this holistic view? Well, we're going to introduce you to a really powerful framework. It's something top leaders and strategists have used for ages, almost like a secret weapon. It lets you look inside a company, diagnose problems accurately, find hidden strengths, even plan big changes without getting totally overwhelmed. We call it simply the 7S model.
The 7S model. That's it. And it's really important to understand right up front, this isn't some magic formula. There's no single best way to organize every company. That just doesn't exist. The core idea, based on tons of research and real-world experience, is that the best organization is one that perfectly fits its specific situation, its environment. Like, think about it. A super nimble tech startup versus a huge old-school manufacturing company. Their ideal setups, how they operate, are going to be completely different. What works for one could absolutely sink the other. And if you think bigger picture, an organization is really a complex system, right? It adapts. It's way more than just departments stuck together or people working nearby. Remember that clock analogy? All the gears are connected deeply, intricately. If just one gear is a tiny bit off, doesn't mesh right, it creates friction, slows things down, maybe messes up the whole thing. This model gives us a lens to see and understand all those connections. So this framework breaks things down into 7 critical elements, and conveniently they all start with S. These 7 are strategy, structure, systems, staffing skills, style, and shared values. And here's the crucial bit, the real insight. For a company to be truly effective, to click, like we said, these 7 elements need to have a high degree of fit. Internal alignment. They have to be consistent. They have to reinforce each other. Think of a great band. Every instrument playing together, listening, supporting the melody, creating something amazing together. That's the goal.
Okay, that makes total sense. A band playing in harmony. I like that. So let's unpack this. Let's dive into each of these 7 S's. We'll explain what each one is, why it matters, and maybe give it a relatable analogy, something kind of fun to help you remember it. First up, strategy. This is the company's grand plan for winning. If the company's a superhero, strategy isn't just the logo on its chest, it's its unique superpower, its detailed plan for saving the world. Or, dominating its market. It's the masterstroke, the game plan. What's the big idea here? How are we going to win? Without a clear strategy, a company's just grifting, right? Reacting, not leading.
Yes, exactly. Strategy is fundamentally about how a company plans to get and keep a sustainable competitive advantage. It's not just about activity, about being busy. It's about consciously choosing to do things better or differently than competitors, in a way that creates unique value customers will pay for, and that others can't easily copy. For instance, some companies go for low cost, Their whole operation is built around efficiency, super lean production, slick supply chains, basic delivery, all focused on offering value through price. Think about big discount retailers. Their strategy is clear. Low prices, achieved through obsessive cost control. They don't try to offer fancy service or luxury goods. That's not their game. Then you have the opposite, differentiation. These companies aren't trying to be cheapest. They focus on offering something unique, something superior. Maybe it's groundbreaking product features, constant innovation, or incredible personalized customer service. Their value is about being irreplaceable, something customers want badly enough to pay more for. The key thing is that strategy is a commitment. It's saying this is how we'll be unique. And often, strategy is also about what you won't do. That focus is critical. And that choice then drives everything else. Structure, systems, people.
Okay, so if I'm trying to figure out a company's strategy, I should ask things like, what really makes them stand out? What's their edge? And what are their big priorities right now? Are they trying to break into new markets, launching tons of new stuff? Or maybe they're obsessed with speed, getting things to market faster than anyone else. Asking those questions helps you see the compass guiding the ship, where they're actually putting their energy. Got it. Next S is structure. The corporate food chain, or maybe a flexible web. This is basically the org chart, but it's more alive than just boxes and lines. You can think of it like that food chain, Or maybe like complex Lego blocks clicking together. It answers the basic questions. Who reports to whom? How are the teams set up? Is it a rigid pyramid, everything flowing up and down strict lines? Or is it more like a web, people connecting across teams like a spider's silk, more fluid?
Structure really dictates how you divide up the work, how you specialize tasks and people, and, crucially, how authority is spread out, who gets to make which decisions. It's about setting up those reporting lines, yes, but also designing ways to coordinate everything effectively. And there's always this tension, this challenge for leaders, balancing specialization, letting people get really deep expertise in one area. With integration, making sure those experts actually talk to each other and work together on the big goals. We see a few common forms. The functional structure is probably most traditional. You see it a lot in smaller or stable companies. Separate departments for manufacturing, sales, marketing, finance, all reporting up. It's great for building deep expertise within each function, getting efficient at specific tasks. But the big downside, silos. It can be really hard to get coordination across those functions, slows things down, especially for complex projects. Then you have the divisional structure. Here, you group things differently, maybe by product line or by region or by customer type. Each division kind of acts like its own little company with its own resources. The plus side is they can react fast to their specific market needs, more agile. But you can lose economies of scale because you're duplicating functions, right? Marketing here, marketing there, and it can get awkward. You might even have two salespeople from different divisions of the same company calling the same customer. That's not good. A more complex one is the matrix structure. This tries to get the best of both worlds, functional depth and divisional focus. So an employee might report to two bosses, a functional head, like head of engineering, and a project manager. It can be powerful for really complex stuff, but honestly, it often leads to conflict, confusion, stress. Who's really my boss? It needs incredible trust between managers, super clear expectations, and constant communication to work. It's tough. And lately, we're seeing more network forms, especially with tech and the gig economy. Think small, semi-independent groups, maybe internal teams, maybe external partners coming together for projects. The boundaries get blurry, inside, outside. Authority is more about who knows what, not just their title. Super adaptable for fast change, definitely. But it can also be confusing. Roles aren't always clear. Things shift constantly. But no matter the form, the structure really shapes where people focus their attention and who holds the power.
That's a really clear breakdown, thanks. So if you're looking at structure, you'd ask, how centralized are decisions? Made at the top or pushed down? And which teams seem to have the most clout, the most influence? Why might that be? That helps you map out the internal power lines and see how work actually flows or maybe gets stuck. Okay, moving on. Third is systems. The unglamorous but essential daily grind, right? So if structure is the skeleton, the framework systems are like the plumbing. And the nervous system, this is all the behind-the-scenes stuff, the processes that aren't glamorous but are absolutely vital, how things actually get done day to day. Think payroll, how information moves around, how decisions get made, how supplies get ordered and delivered. It's the company's operational heartbeat.
Absolutely. Systems cover all those formal and informal processes, procedures, information flows that manage the organization daily. It's a huge category. Performance reviews, reward systems, planning, budgeting, resource allocation, IT infrastructure, logistics, all of it. And the crucial thing here is how profoundly systems affect behavior. Because they direct attention. What gets measured, what gets rewarded, That's what people focus on. That's what drives their actions. Let me give you a really stark example. Say a company wants to be more innovative. They set up cross-functional teams to break down silos, right? Great idea. But then you look at their compensation system, and it only rewards individual performance, maybe hitting individual quotas. See the problem? The system is actively working against the teamwork they say they want.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Total mismatch.
Exactly. People are incentivized to look out for, number one, not collaborate. Or think about a company trying to completely overhaul a core process, like how they develop and launch products. They almost always need to change the underlying systems too. New ways to track progress, new budget cycles, maybe new reward structures to support the new way of working. If you don't change the systems, the old habits just stick around and the change effort fizzles out.
That really highlights how systems can either make or break a strategy. So to understand systems, you could ask, does the company have the right ways to track really important things like customer happiness or what the competition is up to? And what systems do the top leaders actually pay attention to day to day? Is it just sales numbers, production stats, or are they looking at things like employee engagement or innovation metrics too? Their focus tells you a lot about what the company really values and what behaviors those systems are pushing. Okay, number 4, staffing. It really is all about the people. This is where the company decides who's on the team. Are they hiring clones, people who all think and act the same, just fitting into slots? Or are they actively looking for a diverse team of superheroes, people with different skills, different perspectives, different ways of solving problems? It covers everything about the people, how you find them, how you train them, how you help them grow and become truly great.
Yes, exactly. Staffing is super comprehensive. It's about people's backgrounds, their skills, yes, but also the company's whole approach. Recruitment, selection, how new people get integrated, training, development, managing careers over the long haul. You hear that phrase all the time. People are our most important asset. Sometimes it's just talk, but if a company genuinely believes it, then who those people are, how well they fit, and how the company develops them is absolutely critical for long-term success. High-performing companies, they're obsessed with finding the right people, not just technically skilled, but people who fit the culture, the values. And then they invest heavily. Training, mentoring, opportunities to grow. They don't just hire talent, they actively nurture it.
So, to get a handle on staffing, you might look into how do they actually identify and develop talent, both inside and outside? Do they have good training programs, mentorship? Do they give people challenging assignments to help them learn faster? And what are the strengths and weaknesses of the leaders in different areas? Looking at these things tells you if they're really building a strong team that can handle whatever comes next.
Right.
5th SS skills. What the company is genuinely brilliant at. This is like the company's secret sauce, right? The unique talent, the thing they do so well, it makes everyone else say, wow, is it incredible innovation? Like constantly creating new things. Or maybe amazing customer service, making every customer feel like royalty. Or maybe they're just unbelievably efficient, like turning lead into gold through operations.
That's a great way to put it. Skills in this model means the distinctive competencies of the organization as a whole. It's really important to distinguish this from individual skills. This isn't just one smart person. These are capabilities the entire organization has built up over time, sometimes years or decades, through experience, investment, practice. Think about companies famous for one thing, an airline known for amazing service, a tech company synonymous with innovation, a manufacturer known for incredible efficiency. Those are organizational skills. They're big differentiators. Now, these skills can be a huge opportunity. If you're great at, say, adhesives.
Adhesives, okay.
Yeah, stick with me. If you're great at that, you can apply that skill to tons of different industries, right? Medical, construction, electronics. New markets open up. But skills can also be a constraint. What happens if the market totally changes? If your core skill suddenly isn't valuable anymore? Or if you need completely new skills to compete? Sometimes companies get stuck in their old ways. They actually need to unlearn old skills to make room for new ones. That's tough. So a key question for you is, what is this organization truly excellent at? And looking forward, what new skills does it need? Or what old ones does it need to let go of?
That idea of unlearning is fascinating. Okay, number 6, style, the vibe of the leadership. This isn't just about individual personalities, right? It's the collective approach of the management team, their vibe, how they operate. Are the top bosses hidden away in fancy offices, making decisions in a vacuum? Or are they out on the floor talking to people, maybe knowing everyone's dog's name, really connected? That overall vibe, it sets the tone for the whole company. It affects how people communicate, how decisions get made.
It's exactly. Style captures how work actually gets done, reflecting the typical behaviors of the management team as a group. How do they spend their time? Mostly in meetings, or walking around, talking informally? Where's their focus? Mainly internal stuff like costs and processes. Or are they constantly looking outward at markets, competitors, customers? And how do they make decisions? Is it very participatory, involving lots of people, or more top-down, driven by data, or more by gut instinct? And even small symbolic things contribute hugely to style and to the culture. Think about job titles. Are people called employees or associates or partners? That sends a message.
Right, like the difference between staff and team members.
Precisely. Or is there an executive dining room? Or do leaders eat with everyone else? How often do executives actually talk to customers or frontline staff? Not just planned speeches, but real conversations. Especially during big changes, these symbolic acts can signal a new way of operating really powerfully. Actions definitely speak louder than words here.
Yeah, those little signals add up. So to understand style, you could look at how do the top managers actually make big decisions? What's their process? And really, how do they spend their days? Are they stuck in internal meetings? Or are they out there connected to the real business? That tells you a lot about the leadership dynamic and its impact. Okay, last one, number 7, shared values. The soul of the organization. This feels like the deepest one. It's not just the mission statement on the wall, is it? It's the company's soul, its moral compass. The unwritten rules everyone just knows and follows, even when no one's watching. What really guides people when the rule book doesn't have an answer, it's that internal compass, pointing everyone in roughly the same direction.
Shared values are exactly that, the core fundamental beliefs that are widely held and deeply felt across the organization. Often unwritten, learned through stories and watching others, but they give purpose and meaning to the work. They guide what's truly important, what gets celebrated, what's considered unacceptable. These go way beyond formal objectives in a report. They show what really matters to people. And they provide stability when everything else is changing. They're the bedrock of the culture. They influence everything from who gets hired to how you handle a crisis. And these values aren't just stated, they have to be lived, reinforced every day through actions, through the stories people tell. If a company truly values customer obsession, you'll see people going the extra mile for customers, right? Even if it's not strictly their job. If efficiency is a core value, you'll see a constant push to streamline things. What's interesting is how these values create a sense of belonging for those who fit, but can also be a barrier for those who don't. And trying to change shared values, that's often the hardest part of any organizational change. Deep beliefs are really resistant.
That's so true. Values are shown, not just told. So to dig into shared values, you might ask, does everyone really get why the company exists, beyond just profit? Is there a shared vision? What issues get the most management attention? Short-term results, long-term impact, people. And how do people inside describe what makes their company different? Is it quality, innovation, commitment to its people? The answers reveal that true north, that inner compass. Okay, so we've gone through all 7 S's: strategy, structure, systems, staffing, skills, style, and shared values. But here's where it gets really, really interesting. Just having these 7 isn't the whole story, not even close. The real magic, the true power, happens when they're not just there, but when they are all aligned, consistent, actively supporting each other. That's when the symphony plays in harmony. That's when it clicks.
That's the absolute core of the model. An organization works well to the degree its parts are well aligned. When they don't fit together, when there's misalignment between these S's, that's where problems start. Friction increases, things get inefficient, performance drops. It's almost inevitable. So using this model is like being a doctor. You diagnose the fit between each S. Does our staffing process actually get us the people with the skills we need for our strategy? Does our structure help or hinder our strategy? Does it make collaboration easier or harder? The better the alignment, the more coherent everything is, the more effective the organization will be, especially when facing challenges.
Let me give you that example again, because it really makes the point.
Right.
Imagine that company again, the one whose strategy is amazing customer service, 5-star experience every time. Sounds great. But then you look at their systems, the call center staff. They're measured and rewarded only on how fast they handle calls, average handle time. See the total clash. The system directly punishes the behavior the strategy needs. Yeah. Employees are forced to choose, follow the system or follow the strategy. It creates conflict, frustrates everyone, and kills the strategy.
That's a perfect classic example of misalignment. Or think about a financial firm. Their strategy is to build deep, long-term relationships. Be a trusted advisor across all products, investment banking, everything, one-stop shop. But their reward system, it's all based on individual department results, siloed. The bond desk gets rewarded for selling bonds, period. No incentive to introduce clients to wealth management. And maybe their staffing approach focuses purely on deep technical specialists, people who are brilliant technically, but maybe lack those broader relationship building skills needed for the strategy. So the strategy, holistic relationships, gets totally undercut by the systems, individual rewards, and the staffing skills. Lack of relationship focus. The company's fighting itself. And it's not just about fitting together internally. That's huge, but not enough. An organization also has to stay aligned with the outside world, the market, technology, society. Everything's always changing out there. A company perfectly set up for a strategy focused on unique features will be in trouble if suddenly everyone only cares about price.
Right, the ground shifts beneath them.
Exactly. Or if a new technology disrupts everything. The S's need to adapt together to stay relevant, both inside and out. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? How often do organizations really step back and check if their internal setup still fits the external reality?
Which is why this model is so usable, right? When things aren't working, when performance dips, or it just feels like you're wading through treacle, this framework helps leaders pinpoint where the misalignment is, not just guess, diagnose why it happened, and then start figuring out targeted, connected solutions instead of just trying random things. It gives you a roadmap. Okay, so this leads to a really practical thought. When you do need to make changes, are some of these ESs easier to tackle than others? Where do you usually start?
That's a great question, and yes, there's a common distinction. We talk about hard S's and soft S's. The hard S's are generally seen as strategy, structure, and systems. Why hard? Well, they're often more tangible, more concrete. You can write them down, draw charts, implement new processes. Leaders often start change here because, frankly, it feels more direct. You can announce a new strategy, reorganize departments, roll out new software. You can mandate these things, at least on the surface. But then you have the soft S's, staffing, skills, style, and especially shared values. These are generally much harder to change directly. It takes longer, much longer, because you're dealing with ingrained habits, people's competencies built over time, how leaders behave naturally, and deeply held cultural beliefs.
Yeah, you can't just issue a memo saying, change the culture by Friday.
Exactly. You can't mandate a new leadership style or instantly change shared values with a workshop. These things evolve through consistent actions, reinforcement, storytelling, over time. And here's the paradox, the really crucial insight. While the soft S's are harder to change, research shows that the most successful, most adaptable companies pay just as much, if not more, attention to them. Ignoring the soft stuff is often why big change initiatives fail. You can have the best strategy and structure on paper, but if the leadership style doesn't support it, if the skills aren't there, or if the core values clash with a new direction, the change will just wither and die. All 7 are interconnected. You push on one, the others move too. You have to manage that whole system, not just tweak one part in isolation. Ignoring that is a recipe for failure.
So wrapping this all up, what's the big takeaway for everyone listening? Whether you're leading, analyzing, or just trying to understand your own work world, I think it's pretty clear. For an organization to really work, to be effective, successful, resilient, all 7 S's have got to be singing the same song. Strategy, structure, systems, staffing, skills, style, and shared values. They need alignment. They need to reinforce each other, work together to create that smooth, clicking, harmonious company we started with. It's about building a coherent whole.
Absolutely. This framework is a fantastic starting point, a diagnostic tool to shine a light on strengths, weaknesses, misalignments. It does require judgment, thinking critically, but it gives you powerful insights to guide action, to make meaningful changes. So maybe the final question for you to think about, whether it's your company, your team, or even just your own personal way of working. What S might be just a little bit out of tune right now? What's causing friction? And what shift, maybe small, maybe big, could help bring it into better harmony with everything else?
Think about that. What one S might be the key for you. See you later. Bye-bye.